Hey, Shalom, Markins, Karma Kapasham, Jim Isladin, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chachwadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful that pushing this truth in all sincerity. It's like, right, back again with another video. And we got this YouTube celebrity dude, Mr. Beast, promoting the mark of the beast. Right, which I thought was hella comical, but not to be unexpected, right? We know that these elites are gonna use these characters, these people that they've built up, amongst the people, on the internet, in the communities, right, to sell them, their enslavement, right, to make it seem cool and trendy, right, to not be to not have it be so intimidating. It's cool. It's all right. Look, I'm Mr. Beast, and I think it's cool. Nothing to worry about here, right? Because these characters that are built up are here to deceive the people, right? Because these are puppets or agents of the elites, and they're here to beguile people into doing things that they shouldn't be doing. All right, and like I say, these guys got a huge following or whatever, got a huge amount of money, right? Because they've made him this money, right, or gave him this money. And now he's going to be promoting their agenda or their agendas, because there's multiple agendas that he'll be involved in or has been involved in to push. All right, but it's comical. The dude's called Mr. Beast. Why the fuck? I don't know, but yeah, he's called Mr. Beast, and now he's promoting this Neuralink technology, okay, which is all part of the mark of the beast, right? Which we're going to get into. So, someone posted this here on X, End Time Signs, said Mr. Beast just normalized Neuralink to millions. This isn't about helping the disabled. No, that's the front, the cover up. So it's about merging humans with machines and AI. It's about preparing society for the mark of the beast, right? So this guy knows what's up. He knows what's up. Okay, just like we know what's up. Right. But let's grab some scriptures, right? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Also verse 8, it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Right? We know Esau is the wicked, right? These so-called white people who rule the earth, these elites, like they are the wicked, right? Them and their people, right? So we know anything that comes out from them, and to do with them, anything they say is not for the benefit of people, right? But for the benefit of themselves, right? So even him who's coming is after working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, right? Neuralink is being, put out there, some miracle technology that can, help you see, help you walk, help you, get your function of your body back if you're disabled or paraplegic or paraplegic. You ain't got no limbs. But things of that nature, right? You're giving you the ability to walk again and all these different types of things, right? Akin to things that we read about in the scriptures, making almost like godlike, right? But we know this is all stuff on the left-hand side that he's playing with, right? And this is not really because it's not because he really wants to help you. It's because he wants to, enslave you, right? Have you dependent and stuck, okay, with these gizmos, with this tech, right? Because I said this, when you receive it, right, will be the mark of the beast when he rolls it out, right? Where you're not going to be able to buy or sell, save you that had the mark, right? And these things are going to be implanted in your hands or in your forehead, right? So Neuralink plays a part in that, because this is the device that goes in your head, all right? This is verse 10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Right? And so you got these guys selling the lie. Right? You got these guys selling the lie, because the elites can't come out and just say, well, with their decrepit selves and try and convince you that this is good. Right? No, they're going to have to bring in the friendly faces. Right? Those that you people have accepted and that, that they idolize. right? That's why he does it. That's why he sort of sets up these heroes of the world, right? These celebrities, right? Because these people are starstruck, and they're quite happy to, a lot of these people are quite happy to follow the suggestions of their idols. All right. So that's why these people get used, and built up and get used, right, against people. Okay. In 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 14 said, "No marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light." Right. So we know Satan's in power. We know Satan's got an agenda. Okay, these Edomites they got an agenda. Right. But they can't just come and tell you like, "Oh, we're the devil. We're the wicked. We're Esau, Edom, and we want to enslave you." They're not going to come out like that. Right. They're going to lie to you. They're going to beguile you. Okay. They're going to lead you into a trap. All right. And so they use guys like this. Right. So no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light, because Satan in this world is considered the good guy. These Edomites are considered, good people, right? And they're essential for the running of the earth. Well, that's what they've been made. That's what they've made people to believe, right? When these people are really destroying the earth, okay, and they're not needed, right? So therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, right? So even guys like this is like a minister, like he's working on the behalf of the elites, right? To get everybody to adopt this technology, to show you how cool it is, So therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works, right? Because they said he's out there deceiving the people, leading them to take the mark of the beast, which is going to get people killed, destroyed. Where Most High's judgment. It's Isaiah 28 verse 15, right? So because ye have said we have made a covenant with death, right? It's like all these celebrities, right? They've got these bags, right? That's successful, whatever, right? Satan's helped them, reach that point, right? They've done deals with Satan, right? And whatever the conditions of that contract is, right? Because this is what the covenant is. It's a covenant. A covenant is a contract, right? Whatever the conditions of these things, these things are, they have to do certain things, right, in order to keep that wealth, to keep that fame, and all that kind of business, right? So it goes for all the anyone that's been built up in this world. Okay, because ye have said we have made a covenant with death, and with hell we are in agreement. Right, so they got this deal going on, right? When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under forces we have hid ourselves. Right, so that's the agreements you've made, right, for your popularity, your fame, your wealth, and all these different types of things. And you now work for the banking elite, right, to forward the agendas that that they're pushing, and then when they call upon you to do a certain thing, you're gonna do it. All right. Otherwise, you're gonna find out that you ain't Mr. Popular no more, right? And your funds get pulled, right? It says, therefore, thus said Lord God, behold, I lay in Zion a foundation, in Zion for a foundation stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. Judgment also will I lay to the lime, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled. The Most High, the Father of us all, can disannul it, right? He can disannul it, and he's going to disannul it, right? Your agreement that you made with these devils ain't going to mean shit, right? There's not going to be no protection, ain't going to be no this or that, right? There's no prosperity at the end of it. It's just, punishment, judgment. And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. Right? For the time that it goeth forth, it shall take you, for morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand the report. All right, so like I mentioned, all these people have been built up. They've done deals with Esau, right? Basically, the Most High is going to disannul all of them, right, and bring them to judgment, and they're going to lose all their fame, all their wealth, and they're going to be put to death. They'll be destroyed, okay, in the judgment. This is Sirach chapter 10, verse 9. It says, "Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man," right? Because in this world, everybody wants to get that bag, right? And so a lot of people are willing to do anything for that bag, right? Including sell, their own people out, or humanity out, whatever, wherever you want to put it. They happen to, throw people under the bus or step in people to do it, right? Because these people have no character and no integrity, right? Because they're covetous. They want what others have, right? What they see, the glitz and the glamour. Like, we will see it, and we will desire it to a degree, but not to the extent a lot of these individuals where they sell out, basically, and sell others out. These are the people that get, built up and highly esteemed among regular people, right? Because they're not on an elite level, even though they might have a lot of money comparatively to the regular average person. But these people are not really on that high of a level. They're just higher than, the average person, right? And so the average person now looks up to them and is like, oh, look, he got money, and they respect him because he's got money, and he like he made something of himself. It's like, oh, I can do it too. And everybody just kind of lasts after that life, right? But some people are willing to do more for it than others, right? That's why some people make it, some people don't. When I say make it, I mean, get to those heights where they're living that lifestyle, celebrity type of lifestyle, right? Because the elites have to, they have to come to you, man, and they'll say they'll be making all these deals with you, and some people are not willing to do everything that they ask, and so some people don't get that far, right? But others do, because they're willing to do anything. All right. So as it says, there is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such a one setteth his own soul to sell. Right? So you're prepared to do all kind of craziness, wickedness, right? Just so you can get the goodies of this world, right? Which is all temporal. Because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels, right? He's got no morals, he's got no ethics, got no integrity. It's 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 9. It says, "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil," right? There's nothing wrong with money, right? But some people covet it and love it, like I said, more than others. People covet money. They need it so bad because it makes them who they are. They're not nothing but the money. And so they want to be on a certain level, but like I'm trying to explain, it's not worth it. In this world, it's not worth it. Everyone needs money, right? But these guys have a specific love for money, right? Which is the root of all evil, right? Which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith, right? They've erred to do good, right? And have pierced themselves through with many sorrows, right? So eventually these types of dudes, man, those are gonna bring judgment against them, and they're gonna get what's coming to them, right? Because they're encouraging other people to participate in an evil matter, right? He's already sold out, so he's already sealed in that sense. He already set for destruction, but he's pushing the agenda of the mark of the beast, right, for others to be destroyed, right? And he's playing his role on that side to do that. All right. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 14, right on down. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which ye have power to do. Right, and Neuralin's part of those miracles, right? That he's showing the world what he's capable of doing with his technology. I'm godlike. I can make you see and make you walk, and I'm just like the Most High did in Jesus when he did this, and the apostles when they did that. He's trying to show people that he's on that level with his technology, and openly he's not. but people are going to be marveled by it, anyway, right? Because it is a feat. It is a feat of human technology. Yeah, it is a a feat, but it's still not on the level of the spiritual power on the right hand side, right? But people are going to marvel at it all the same, right? Because on one side it is impressive that he can do that. He's worked out how to do this, but it's messy, man. It's messy, man. He wants to put wires in your head, chips in your brains. It's just messy, isn't it? And spiritual power ain't messy, man. It's clean. It's clean, right? All right. So then, deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, right? To Mr. Beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? So, like I said, they're going to cause people to worship this beast, right? It speaks and demands, right? It demands compliance, right? If you don't comply, with because they say that Esau looking to set up a new world order, right? And so if you don't comply with this image that we are setting, the standard that we were setting, then you should be deleted, right? Verse 16, and he calls it all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Right? So this is what we all need to be careful of and be concerned about, right? And pay attention to, right? This mark, right? That is going to be introduced into this world, right? And so, like we say, we've already identified what it is, but you people need to be more circumspect, because a lot of you people are being fooled, or being made to feel like this is just some kind of like fairy tale or something, like this isn't happening, but evidently all these things are happening. All right, but you're being beguiled into being made to believe that this isn't anything. This is just technology. This is just helping people. But that's the lie. Obviously, Satan was here to deceive the earth, right? And so that's what they're doing. They're deceiving people, and only a few people can see through it. But like I said, that's why they use these characters to promote their shit, because they know they're the ones that built him up. They know he's got a big following, and so he's gonna be able to convince a whole bunch of people. Maybe not everybody that follows him, but a whole bunch of people that do are gonna feel like this is okay, not knowing that they're being set up to take the mark of the beast, which is going to bring them destruction, right? So he calls it all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? Neuralink goes in the head, right? There's all the other chips that go into people's hands, and that we've covered it plenty of times. We will continue to cover it even more times. That the men are making payments and opening doors and holding data on themselves, tickets and all different types of things, right? With the chip in their hand, and they put that over a scanner, and it does what it does, right? But we know specifically that this is going to be the way you're going to pay for things in the future, right? Not so distant future, right? And without it, you're not going to be able to make no transaction, right? As it goes on to say, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, that had this technology, right? Or the name of the beast or the number of his name, right? So without this technology in your hand or in your forehead, you ain't going to be able to buy or sell, right? That's why all this digital currency comes in, these CBDCs, right? Programmable money, right? And like I said, with all these digital IDs and all that kind of stuff, you're going to be verified and basically they're going to have control over who can receive, who can't receive, what you can receive, or where you can go, where you can't go, what services you have access to, a lot like the system they've got running out there in China right now, okay, with the whole credit score system, that they got up running, right? That is a future of things to come globally, right? And it's going to be, and this RFID chip is going to play its part in that, right? As well as you know, the AI scanning, facial scanning, and that kind of business, right? All to verify who you are. Okay. But this is what they're setting up. It's not because they want to help you walk again. You know, and the image doesn't change, right? It's not to help you walk again. It's not really about that, right? It's so that they can control you basically, you financially, physically, right? We've seen enough movies to know what they're capable of doing with these types of technologies, right? So that's the goal, right? And I say this, you know, these dudes are set up to push you into that, right? To lead you into it. It's Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, right, you accept it. You want this place to continue, right? Because most people do, because everything that they've invested in is here, right? And they don't want to see it gone completely. Even though these people are going to lose a lot, they're gonna want to keep, hold out hope that things can return to normal, as they always do, right? I mean, as they always do in terms of they hope things will return to normal. They don't ever go back to normal, but the hope is that it will, that the houses should continue forever, right? This is the third angel saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, right? So this is what you should be trying to avoid. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Right? So we know, speaking for us brothers, you know, in his faith, right? Okay, we don't want this, right? We ain't trying to be anywhere near this, you know, and so we know what's up. We know not to take this this mark, not to accept the mark of the beast, right? Because we don't want to go out like this. Okay, we want to, you know, make it into the kingdom. Okay. So, and the smoke of their torment sendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Right? So you're gonna get that hot judgment, man. Okay, you're gonna be going up in flames, burning, right? And like I said, we don't want no part of that. So, you know, we intend to stay away, you know, from this this technology, from this device, right? That they want to implant in you. Right? These guys are encouraging you, and we're trying to discourage you. Right? And this is Romans 1. I'm not going to read this all, but you know, you can read this like this is like the mindset of wicked people, right? But I just want to get this point here. Let me read from I'll read from verse 28, right? So and even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, right? Because if you did like retain the Most High in your knowledge, in your mind, right, you would be reminded of the things that are written in it, right? Because you'd read the scriptures, right? And you'd know that you probably don't want to, you know, F with things like this, right? Obviously, this dude don't give a shit, you know, and he may or may not, you know, read the Bible. Who knows? Who knows what these demons do, but like, or don't do. But like, these men don't have any morality, right, to dissuade you from taking this, right? Because if you knew, if you knew, or does know, right, then he will tell you not to take it. But because he, you know, for him, it's like, well, I'm getting paid to be here. My lifestyle depends on it. I don't care what the scriptures say. I'm going to tell you that this is okay. Right? So even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things which are not convenient. Taking the, you know, this new technology is not convenient. You know, his RFID chip is not convenient for you. Right? Even though he's trying to sell it to you, oh, yeah, but you can walk again, you can see again, you can run, you can jump, all this shit. Yeah, it sounds good because you can't walk or run. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it sounds great because you want your legs back, or you know, you want to be able to see again. Yeah, like we can understand why people would want to do it, but we're trying to tell you, man, look, if you do this though, right? Because you're seeking to save your life, right? The scriptures say those who seek to save their life shall lose it, right? You will do the wrong thing in the pursuit of, you know, getting your life back, or you know, trying to seek your life. You know, you're gonna lose far more. by doing this. You know? Verse 29, being filled with all unrighteousness, fornication, wickedness, covetousness, maliciousness, full of envy, murder, debate, deceit, malignity, whisperers, backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things. Well, this Neuralink and stuff is really evil, even though it's being marketed as something good. Disobedient to parents, right? It's just, yeah, just things are getting more out of hand, right? They don't care about the parents anymore, what the parents have got to say. And, you know, these kids are doing what the fuck they want to do, right? Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection, impassible, unmerciful, right? Who knowing the judgment of God, right? Because it's all written, right? Who knowing the judgment of God, that they which commit such things are worthy of death, right? These men are worthy of death because they already committed all these different things already, which has gone through it, right? Including Mr. Beast, right? He already gone through all this stuff, right? But it says they've committed things that are worthy of death. Not only do they do the same, but have pleasure in them that do them, right? They take pleasure in encouraging others to do the same, right? So this is what he's doing. He's encouraging other people to commit wickedness, more evil, right? Because that's what the covenant is. That's what the contract is, right? For him to maintain the life that he has, the lifestyle that he has, and the fame and all that kind of shit. This is what he's got to do. He's already sunk low. He's already a low life, right? With questionable character. But he does all charity work. He does this. He does that. Yeah, that's all part of the gig. That's all part of the illusion, right? Like all these elites, they're the philanthropists. They're giving money to charity, but at the same time, they're kidnapping children and starting wars. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, come on, man. Like, when you people are gonna realize, man, that the rich do not serve this world. They don't serve the poor. They don't serve people. They want you to serve them, right? So this is what's happening. All right. This is Revelation chapter 16, verse 2. Yeah. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noising and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them that which worship his image. Right? So you people are going to suffer. Those that think that, you're getting something out of this, like, some sort of safety or security or whatever, right? You're going to suffer, right? Because you would have made the wrong decision, right? And the Most High is going to punish those that take this mark. Is, clear, right? His job is to soften you up to the idea of taking it. That's his job, or part of his job. Okay, so you can suffer this. It's Psalm 64, starting from verse 2, right? It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, right? These elites are workers of iniquity, right? Best believe these elites who are the wealthy, the rich of this world, they are workers of iniquity. And yes, they have secret counsels, right? And they're making all kinds of plans and schemes, right? For sure. So who wet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? Who shall see them? Because they're not actually out there in the front lines. They're behind the scenes. Who's going to see them? They're setting up all these things from behind the scenes. So no one can really see what it is that they're doing. They got guys like this doing it. People like this dude. I don't know why, but people like this dude, right? The celebrities that they've created, people like them. And so they're the face of everything. They're the face of everything to kind of soften you into all these different things. If Esau give you your rappers to look up to, and then these do. That's what Esau does, right? And so people don't think about this grand agenda. They think, oh, but he's just a he's just a YouTube celebrity. Why is he why would he be promoting Mark of the Beast technology and all this sort of stuff and taking over the world? Like, no, that's not him. He's just a puppet. He ain't doing it. The elites are doing it, and it's using him. He's just a puppet, and they're using him. So who will see them? Because all you see is this guy, and you think nothing of this guy. He's just a YouTube celebrity, whatever. Right? So they this is how they move, right? They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately, unawares, right? By using dudes like this. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, right? So again, these are plans and schemes that they've been working on for years, centuries, right? To get it to this point where they got that, where they have the technology to enslave everybody, basically, to put them in this digital cage that they're building. All right, and now all they got to do is kind of sell it to you, promote it to you. It says, but God shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. All right, but this is what they're doing, and like I said, they're using guys like this to promote it, right? So that these more people take this mark when it comes up, in the time of crisis, because it's a hard sell otherwise. That's why there has to be crisis. That's why they have to soften you up to the idea, because people wouldn't do this usually. I just implant shit in them. I know you got some fanatics out there that that like all this technology shit, but generally most people wouldn't do this. Right, so Esau's having to soften you up to that idea, and then bring the crisis, which is gonna push you over the edge, basically, telling you that this is the only way. We need to guarantee that everyone's getting getting their rations or whatever, right? And the only way we can do that is if you verify yourself. We take this mark, and we can give you access to food and this and that. You can be safe here in these concentration camps or whatever, right? Whatever it is, right? However, Esau's going to use all of this, right? But it's the jobs of these agents, these puppets of the elites, right, to warm you up to that idea. So when they drop it, it's not so hard to do in the end, right? But like I said, it'll be a wrong decision to make, because we know what the scriptures say. Right, but they're here to convince you that it's not the mark of the beast. It's just some technology that we've got that's going to help people, help the world, change the world for the good, whatever, man. Okay, you men, you rich people that put all this money into the research and development of all these things, man. You never had no intentions for the good of these things. The good is just a byproduct, or certain good is just a byproduct. Something you sell, you pitch people on. Okay, but it's not the true intent of these things. All right, but anyway, I'm going to end it there. Lord, this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.